Welcome back, just as the bus goes past. I was going to do a tractor video today, but it's about to piss down, so no tractors until later. So today we're going to try and fix this problem in my life. So you'll remember, a couple of weeks ago we were out slashing and we suffered a catastrophic failure on the PTO shaft between the tractor and the slasher. If you're in the northern hemisphere, brush hog, slasher. I'm going to call it a slasher from now on, so I'll put a little down the bottom so you know what it means. So catastrophic failure of the PTO clutch, slip clutch, and then we got it home and discovered that we had a crack in the A-frame over here. I'll show that to you in a minute. And we also had all the bolts had fallen out of the, let's call it a differential. It's probably the wrong word. That's what I'm calling it. Gearbox, same thing. Energy comes in, energy goes out. Call it what you want. Anyway, all the bolts fell out. So I'll walk you through what we found. We're going to try and fix it today and get it back out to the tractor and hook it on and see how it goes. But first day off, I've got 20 days off from here, so there'll be a few videos. Got a few plows to pick up, but also exhausted. So forgive the ugly face, and let's get on with it. And if you see something you don't like or you disagree, happy days. All right, that's how I'm going to do it. Might not be how you're going to do it. My intent here is not to tell you exactly how you should do it. It's how we're going to fix it. So jump on, enjoy the ride. See you soon. So all of our problems are on this side of the tractor, or at this side of the slasher today. So you can see here, somebody's tried to fix this before, and I think the words failed dismally are the right ones. So we're going to weld that up, and then over here, this is the discovered problem. So all of these bolts, which are M10s, were all stripped out and held in with Celastic, and the hoop had been put on to try and help hold them on. So we'll get a bit cleaned up here and set up, and then we're going to re-tap these as an M12. We've got some new bolts. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm just going to have to buy another slasher. This one cost me around 50 pesos, so it's broken. That's life. The other thing we're also potentially going to do today is weld the side rails in position. You can see here, you might be able to see here, starting to bend this bracket. So before I completely destroy it and have to bring it back into town and re-weld it, I'm just going to weld them in position. So the other side, which is not too bad, down in there, probably lift that up and weld them in place too. So alright, I'll get the camera on. I'll get everything cleaned up, I'll show you what we've got, and then we'll start. Righto, after about an hour to get the slasher up level and much nicer to work on, let's go through what we've got. We've got 5 of the 6 bolts to hold the horizontal drive in place. I've got some new bolts to put in where those 5 were, which I was going to use in here. Now they pulled out, so I've got the 5 bolts that fell out, 8 M12 25mm bolts and 8 M12 30mm bolts. Got an M12 tap. We've got the base gasket that went in on the vertical drive, it sits here. Got some rags, got some degreaser, some bits and pieces. This is the bolt that holds the slip clutch on. We've got the vertical drive to clean up. So let's get into it. get this done. Right, got all the holes drilled out, bolts fit through. Not a lot of thread on a 25, but we also don't have a lot of thread space in here. So one of these holes is blind. So this hole here got about, here we go, about half an inch. So let's try and tap one, see how we go. I'm not confident, just quietly. Nothing seems to be going well here, so but we can get it started. I might have to go and buy another tap. No. Alright, back in a while, we'll have another go. Alright, welcome back everybody. Had to get rid of a bit of video because I used some bad words. Had some interesting times getting these bolts retapped, and I'll show you why. So let me pull this out and I'll give it a wipe off, put the last bolt in, and I'll show you what we've discovered. Right. So, it appears quite clearly that this has been fixed before, and what I believe has happened is they've put liquid steel in the bottom of all these holes, which are both supposed to be through holes, and now they're not. But we've got enough threads in there to hold it all together. And we've cleaned up the bottom of this. As you can see, some of the important bits aren't real flash. So next up, I'm going to put it back together. So I'm going to give this a clean, and then I'm going to put the shaft that goes this way, the horizontal shaft, back in, and then I'm going to put it all back on the base. So got to go find some goop, and then we'll start gooping stuff. Alright, so bolts will fit. Make some more grease on this bearing. Too much is never enough. Now this is this slasher gearbox is supposed to be filled with oil, but the seal on it is no good. So this seal, grab a rag. This seal in here is no good, and sizing it, you know, it's one of those things, could be done, but I'm intending to fill this gearbox full of grease rather than oil. So again, slasher cost me basically nothing, so not losing any sleep. And again, someone will say, yes, but if you rebuilt it properly and you spent $1,000 to do it, it might last another 2 weeks. Well, if I get to that point, I'm just going to buy a new one. But if I buy a new slasher, I'm going to attach it to a new tractor, and that's a slightly more expensive proposition. So anyway, so on here, there's all the shims. That one there. Sorry, I'll make sure you can see that. That one there is going back in. Try and line all this up. That's the next challenge. bolts in. Try this a different way. Cut the bolts in first. No, that's much easier, isn't it? Just be aware there's a domestic breaking out across the road from me currently, so if you hear some bad language, it's the police sirens. It's just a normal day in the neighbourhood. Alright, I might just set that on there, line some holes up, see if we can start some bolts off. Alright, so they're all going to grab, so I'll tighten them up, we'll come back to the next bit. It's raining a little bit, but in case you can't hear me, I'll put words on the bottom, but what I'm doing here is just checking that the shim and the bolts are tighten up on the housing by using washers to represent the base. It doesn't normally rain like this in little old New South Wales, but at the moment it's every day. Right, so they're all good to go. So what I'll do, I'll give everything a really clean. This piece and this piece, we'll goop it up, and then we're going to drop it on there and try and do the bolts up. Right, plenty of goo. Couple of bolts up. As you can see, I'll try and zoom in. There's not a lot of thread sticks out, so. Alright. Now we find out if it all just works. Alright. Maybe not. Well, this isn't going according to plan, which is just that the bolts would slide in and do up. but, oh, hang on. Well, that's one. So I'll put 5 more in and I'll come back. Morning everybody. It's the next day. I spent 8 hours yesterday trying to get one bolt of 6 into the bottom of the gearbox. So didn't go well. Lots of swearing, lots of carry on. Deleted all of that. We're going to have another go. So I'll show you what's going on and then you'll understand my frustration. So effectively I've made the whole assembly too good. There's not enough slop to be able to get this bolt to pick up the threads in that hole. I had it in there and then I had to take it out to put another washer on because it's one of the short thread bolts. So I ended up having to take the shaft out to be able to lift this in and out. I buggered all of those bolts. I have those 7 left to put in, 6 and that one, so 7 left to put in. So I'm gonna get set up and have another go, and then hopefully we can move on because this is getting very, very frustrating. They say time is money, and I am sick of spending my time and wasting my money on this slasher. But I think we're good to go. Let's have a look. So I'm not going to even begin to describe to you the fact that the 6th bolt remains not in place. After 2 hours this morning, I decided I've had enough. So 5 bolts, it's not going anywhere, hopefully. I've welded the side rails on, welded up the crack, put the slip clutch back together, welded up the other crack I found, and yeah, I'm not a welder. So it's back together. Trevor's up in the bush idling, warming up. We'll bring it down, hook it on and see how we go. And just to make it all the more impressive, it's currently raining, so it's time to do some other stuff other than this slasher. So we'll hook it up, make sure it works, and then I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and then yeah, go and start on the next round of jobs. All right, well, thanks for watching. My YouTube skills are still slightly dodgy. It's time to put this thing to work. I'll try and get some video. Hopefully it lasts more than 3 minutes. Very frustrating. I know I could spend $3,000 and buy a new one. I'd probably have no issues for 20 years, but it's rapidly approaching that point. So anyway, like I said, like, subscribe, bang the button. I am going to put some more drama and some more action in, just one thing at a time. So I'm going to mow in the rain, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, stay safe, and come back again. For the record, it's raining again, and it's not the weekend, but I'm not at work. So just thought I'd just say, hey, my life's pretty good. So you have a lovely day.